Have you ever felt like your brain is foggy, anxious, or irritable, and you can't quite pin it on anything? What if I told you that your gut is sending signals to your brain right now that control how you feel? In today's video, we're going to talk about the link between your microbiome and your mental health, and why conventional approaches and even a lot of holistic approaches really miss it. I have a client who struggled with depression for years and years, and she told me it was okay for me to share this story, but it wasn't until she followed the protocol that I teach inside of my program, where we cut out all starches from the diet. Yes, I know, against all dietitians' recommendations. Within just a few days, she felt dramatically different, and there's a reason for this, and we're going to dive into that in today's video. Hi, my name is Selena from Wholeness Campaign. I've recovered from IBS, parasitic infection, Lyme's disease, asthma, allergies, histamine intolerances, food intolerances, and a host of neurological symptoms associated with multiple severe concussions. Stay tuned this month. I'm going to talk a lot more about that and the connection between your gut and your brain. I recovered most of my chronic symptoms using food as medicine, and it is my passion to teach others how to do the same. To start off, I just want to go through what the gut-brain axis actually is. I know most of you probably know what it is, but to be exact, the definition is the bidirectional communication between the gut and the brain via neural, endocrine, immune, and metabolic pathways. Key players in this are the enteric nervous system, meaning typical of what people think of as the second brain, which is that neural network that's all throughout the digestive system, from the esophagus all the way down to the rectum, as well as the vagus nerve, which is a major communication highway between your gut and your brain. Also, microbial metabolites, so short-chain fatty acids, neurotransmitters. We're going to talk more about how these actually play a role here in a minute, and immune signals, and this concept that many people call leaky gut, intestinal permeability. Now, what's actually happening when the gut-brain axis is disrupted? The formal term for this is called dysbiosis, meaning that there is imbalance in the microbiome. Because of some sort of environmental factors, there is a loss of beneficial bacteria, and there is an overgrowth of opportunistic flora, meaning the type of bacteria that becomes pathogenic in the wrong terrain environment. So when somebody has gut dysbiosis, so this really extreme imbalance, there's several really key consequences that affect your brain. The first is that you get increased intestinal permeability. This allows bacterial endotoxins, so byproducts of pathogenic bacteria, to cross into the bloodstream and cause systemic inflammation and ultimately pass through the blood-brain barrier. So when we're talking about gut dysbiosis on a microbial level, this is actually where the brain inflammation starts. There are other factors, obviously, like toxicity and your own stressed nervous system state that can contribute to this. But speaking here first to the microbiome, that's essentially what's going on. Because of the microbial imbalance, another consequence of that is that you're going to get altered levels of microbial metabolites. So short-chain fatty acids that are really important for repairing the body and supporting the nervous system are far lower, which then leads to weaker neuroprotection and less signaling to the brain for regulations. You can see here, obviously, less of the beneficial microbes means that they're producing less of their beneficial byproducts that support the brain's regulation. There's also immune activation or cytokine signaling that can affect mood and cognition. Again, there's this disruption of the blood-brain barrier integrity. And the data is showing that dysbiosis, this imbalance of microbes, if you can just think of it like that, not enough good, too much bad. I know bad is not really how we should categorize microbes because they all have a function, but if you could just think of that, there's a massive imbalance. Research is saying is actually correlated with depression, anxiety, autism, and neurodegenerative conditions. So how does this play out in real life? You're eating your starches, you're eating the foods that are supposed to be good for a healthy person, but in an unhealthy person, when they consume these foods, they end up feeding pathogenic microbes. So that's nuts, that's sweets, that's sugars, that's even fruit, that's starchy vegetables like potatoes, sweet potatoes. These things are all healthy foods. There's nothing wrong with the foods themselves. It's just that when our gut microbiome is in a state of already being imbalanced, you give your body these things and it basically takes the imbalance, right? Bad bacteria, good bacteria, and it makes it more extreme. So now, although you do have higher levels of good bacteria, you also have even higher levels of pathogenic bacteria, and this is what drives our symptoms. So practically speaking, you're going to see symptoms that are like brain fog, memory lapses, poor focus, anxiety, mood swings, irritability, sleep disturbances, fatigue, even that feeling of being like wired but tired. And this stuff is very real. These microbes are controlling our mood. These pathogens are off-gassing endotoxins that are passing through the gut lining and disrupting the brain. I want to say there's over 176 different toxic gases that these pathogens are producing, and influence how we feel, influence our behavior, and they directly influence our mood. So we think that these things are just like an emotional thing or an experience I had, and that's why I'm feeling this way. But very likely the food that we're eating is driving this response in our body, this very chemical response that's happening, where these systems that were meant to work for our betterment, they're supposed to be a sealed gut lining so that you got good digestion and enzyme production and a robust microbiome and diversity. All of that is now working against you because the gut is leaky, and it's breeding this cycle of inflammation that's directly affecting our brain. I can share from experience watching my own husband suffer from anxiety that there is a really direct correlation between what he eats and how his anxiety is manifesting in any given moment. He's seen great strides, especially when he takes his nutrition and gut healing really seriously, and he did that in the past season, and I watched him go from severe panic attacks all the way to very calm, very stable, able to hold conversations when he was tired, less brain fog, way less mood irregularities and whatnot. I've watched this with my eyes, you guys. People who are struggling with these more severe cases of mood disorders can really, really, really benefit from taking a hard look at their diet. And everybody knows diet's related, but I don't think people realize how important the microbiome supportive diet can be to seeing results in their mental health symptoms. Now, I want to give you some action steps, some takeaways if you're just getting started and you want to know, like, okay, what do I do? How am I actually supposed to start healing my brain and eating for my brain? Because it's much more than the blueberries and walnuts that I was told to eat lots and lots of when I was recovering from concussions. It actually is going to be none of that. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take in foods that rebalance the ecosystem. So that's probiotic fermented foods. And don't believe any of the crap out there of people saying that it's causing yeast imbalances or it causes yeast overgrowth. There is a process that people go through when they start introducing these fermented foods. It's called die-off. And this die-off process can last months. And this is what I walk my clients through in a one-to-one setting because it can be so tricky and finicky to recognize and understand as the process is unfolding. You see very amazing long-term gains from taking in probiotic foods, but in the first several months of starting them, it can be really tricky, and sometimes it can feel like symptoms get worse before they get better. So you really need a very slow strategy. I'm talking very, very, very slow strategy to incorporating any type of new ferment, because if you can also remember that anytime you introduce a fermented food, it's going to go in there, it's going to kill off pathogenic microbes, and those pathogens do cough up all of their toxins, their endotoxins, the toxic gases they're holding on to, some of them acetaldehyde, some of them acetone, some of them histamine. All these toxic gases are going to go throughout your body, causing these die-off symptoms and potentially affecting your brain. So we really want to stay slow, really introduce them very, very, very gently. I talk a lot about fermented foods here on my channel, but really it's anything that's cultured, that's fermented, and ideally that is sugar-free at the end of it. The second thing you're going to do to support your brain is you're going to take in meat stock. Actually, it's really interesting, but your gut lining needs a certain amount of amino acids to repair itself, and meat stock has this amazing balance. So that's actually where I have my clients start, is with learning how to make meat stock properly. And the reason that this is so important is because meat stock is going to go in there and it's literally going to spackle the digestive lining. It's going to seal leaky gut. This is not as easy as drinking just 1 cup of meat stock. You need to actually be consistent about it. You need to drink lots of it. If you're really serious about healing your mental health symptoms, I would argue that you need to be having 3 up to all the way 8 cups of meat stock a day. So this is not like something you could just like add in as like a here and there thing and see amazing results. Maybe you can, but I would get diligent about it. This would be the thing that I would get super diligent about, because you're going to be rebalancing the yeast in the gut and you're going to be repairing the nutrient absorption site while you're giving your body an amazing dose of minerals, which are so important for cellular repair and functioning, and amino acids that are crucial for healthy brain function. So I've never seen people get problems with meat stock. If you're interested in learning how to make it correctly and effectively, like the most effective meat stock that you can ever make, there is a scale, there's a difference in how you make it, and it does make a difference in how you see symptom resolution. You can grab my $17 meat stock mini course in the description box below. I teach you exactly how to make it in my kitchen. I show you step by step. It comes with a recipe, frequently asked questions sheet, and my best tips for introducing it in a way that your body is most likely going to handle the best. And the last thing that you can do, and this is going to sound really silly, but I think it's probably the most important thing when it comes to supporting your mental health, is get adequate sleep and repair your circadian rhythm. And with this comes a host of conversations about eating in season and timing of meals and whatnot. But I would encourage you, if you are struggling with mental health symptoms, this is not the time for fasting, not even intermittent fasting, especially in the mornings. This is not the time to be stressing your body out and not giving your body as much sleep as it needs. You really want to give your body ample sleep because we're communicating to our body safety. That's what your body truly needs to heal, and we're coming at it from both angles. I'm a very big advocate of gut first nutrition and really repairing the microbiome, and that's what I taught you with those first two. But the last one I really think comes down to creating an environment for your body that communicates safety. The more you continue to signal safety to your body, there's a lot of ways we can do that. Sleep, I would say, is number one. Your body's actually going to be given all the tools it needs to repair itself. And that's actually our goal. We don't need a million practices. We don't need all these gadgets and finicky, popular, faddish things. Like, we really need the basics. We need sleep, and we need really nutritious food. We need basic building blocks that our body needs to calm down the nervous system, calm down the gut inflammation, and repair the connection from our gut to our brain so that all the food that we eat is going to nourish our brain, and all of the activities that we do don't bring more stress to the body and therefore more stress to the gut, which then can cause leaky gut. It's a whole cycle. So those are actually my top tips. I know that there's a lot of other things we can do. Obviously, avoiding harsh chemicals, antimicrobials, unnecessary antibiotics. There's a million ways that you can manage your stress levels, but these are really number one for me when it comes to repairing the gut-brain axis. This is what your body needs the most, I would argue. So if this resonated with you and you want me to walk you step by step in this process, this is really the starting point, but there's so much more to learn and grow in when you're trying to recover from mental health symptoms, these really stubborn, really finicky ones like brain fog and anxiety. I have a 6-month coaching program called the Whole Health Blueprint that takes you step by step in repairing your gut, rebalancing the microbiome, really healing the tissue of your gut lining, detoxing your body effectively and safely, and calming down your nervous system so that your body can actually heal. I include all of those because I think they're the most important 3 pillars to healing any chronic illness that's out there. I know it's a controversial statement, but it's really what I've found to be true. And many of my clients are seeing great improvements in their neurological health by supporting with a nutrition first, food first, gut first approach. Check out the link in the description to learn more about the Whole Health Blueprint and apply. We would love to have you. And once you apply, we can hop on a quick 15 to 30 minute clarity call where we can discuss more about your situation and how I can help you get to the root of your chronic symptoms naturally. So if you got any value out of this video, like the video and subscribe to my channel. This month, I'm making videos all about the gut-brain connection. I'm sharing my own experience with concussion rehab in a couple weeks from now, and I'm excited to take you along with me. I'll see you guys in the next one.